So I think let's start the recording. So I'm just checking. Okay. So my name is Raj, and this session, okay, the plan for this session actually basically is something we wanted to cover some advanced topics related to Intune. Okay, so Intune, not when I say Intune, it's just not related to Intune alone. So we wanted to add some additional topics that what we see in at the moment in any of the companies or any of the industry standard M365 technologies, right? So it's in and around Intune. Okay, so Intune as a tool is a separate tool, but being expertise in Intune alone will not give you a great career ahead. So you need to club with technologies like Microsoft Defender for Endpoint, and then Defender for Cloud Apps, and then some advanced Intune stuff themselves, like endpoint privilege management. And then there's so many things that that Microsoft has recently announced, right? Like the tunneling part. Okay, all of these things we wanted to have a separate advanced session that we think, but doesn't really mean that when I say advanced, okay, so we are not really, I don't plan to go directly ahead and talk about advanced Intune. Okay, but however, the assumption is still you all have some basic knowledge of Intune. When I say basic, uh, at least you all need to know what is enrollment, what are simple policies, and then what is Intune. Okay. So when I say what is Intune, Intune is a enterprise device management tool where we actually use to manage endpoint devices. When I say endpoint devices, it's Windows devices, iPhones, and then iPads, Android devices. Okay, to some extent Linux and Chrome OS as well. So when we say management, what kind of management again? Okay, so we are pushing applications, we are managing the security policies on those endpoints, non-security policies on those endpoints, and then we are controlling some restrictions, okay, creating some compliance policies, evaluating the device compliance policies level, and then reporting whether the devices are compliant or not. Okay, so these are the few things it is really meant for those people who know day to day why Intune is used, and if they want to get some advanced level of knowledge when it comes to both administration standpoint and also at an implementation level. Okay, so I'm assuming most of the people here at least knows what is Intune, how do we enroll devices, okay, and create few policies, and they have seen the Intune console. Okay, so that that I can consider them as a level 1 or level 2, or level 1 or even basic step. And then let me share my screen, but what we are really the agenda for all the entire topics is little bit deep dive into each and every topic. Because if you look at my first session, okay, so I usually conduct 3 different sessions under JOYATRES. I cover something called as Intune 100 to 200 level, and then I cover something as Intune 100 to 300 to 400. Okay, and then I cover the M365 security part. Okay, so let me share my screen. Okay, so this is what usually I cover. Okay, so the licensing part, okay, the mobile device management strategy versus the hybrid, and this is mainly for MD 132 certification, which is approximately 20 to 24 hours. Within 24 hours, uh, I plan to cover. Okay, this is basic pure who absolutely don't understand anything about Intune. Okay, So I even talk about a simple Intune portal, setting up licenses, signing up for trial accounts, okay, and then do a simple Intune lab setup, creating users, groups, licensing, okay, and then start off with enrolling basic Windows devices, your virtual machines, okay, or physical machines, talking about iPhones, and then Android way of enrolling multiple ways, right? Like company portal. Okay, so I talk about even the what is business manager, what is VPP. Okay, all of these I cover, and then we can go, we move on and create some standard policies that every organization does, right? Like, compliance policies, conditional access policies, and then security and non-security policies, and then like, BitLocker and the Defender policies. And then, yeah, and then creating some simple applications, deploying those applications. Okay, so we all have, I mean, I don't really have many presentations. The way people who have, some of them I see they've already attended my classes. So as you all know, I really don't have a lot of PPTs. Okay, so I just have a console and few test machines. Everything I do, okay, so it'll be a live demo sessions on how to do it right from the scratch. Okay, I always, for every batch, I start with a new Intune account, new Intune trial account, and then new policies. It's a brand new, fresh setup that you all see in every batch. So, and then way later, I move on to a little bit of security and then monitoring, report, interviews, jobs, some production scenarios, how to prepare for interview questions. Okay. So, and then how do you can shape up your career with the rest of the tools in and around you. Okay. So that was usually I cover in Intune at 100, 200 level. But this alone, nearly every time I start the session, it will go up to 28 hours or 26 hours. Okay, because a lot of questions are asked, a lot of testing goes on. Okay, a lot of cross questions and all of this. To respect everyone, we need to go answer everyone's question and answers, right? So usually it goes up more than 20 hours. But even this is purely I am there are 30 topics that I really want to cover. These are the topics that usually I don't cover in depth when it comes to here, because for most of the candidates who are very new to Intune, or even they're existing to Intune, they need to clear understanding of what are all these. Okay, and then that is once they have at least like 3 4 months 5 months experience of all this or working on their tool, then this is where they can get into the next level deep dive. Okay, so there are two ways, that there are two jobs that you can actually look at. Okay, the basic Intune administration job that you all get, okay, these are sufficient. But if you want to move a little bit advanced, okay, when I say advanced, like, if you want to implement, if you want to start a project from scratch, if you want to have a decision maker, a consultant, an architect, okay, so you need to go beyond what the basic administration of Intune does, right? The real-time challenges, okay, the hybrid scenarios. Okay, so how do we plan? How do we, like, there are so many organizations already using SCCM. Like, how do we have a plan to do a co-management? Okay, and there's so many people who already have a hybrid AD setup. All the devices are joined to on-premise AD and also the Azure AD, okay, or the Entra AD. So in that case, how do we roll out in mass, step by step? How do we test? How do we go by UAT? How do we ensure that the devices are co-managed? And then a rollout plan or a strategy that we can do out on a mass scale. Okay, so there are still a lot of companies who have not moved to Intune management. Okay, so most of the companies will eventually move to a hybrid AD setup and a co-management at the least. Okay, but if you look at the small organizations, a lot of or when I say small organization, less than 10,000 devices and less than 5,000 headcount, they wanted to have a complete 100 cloud-based environment. Okay, so when I say 100% cloud-based environment, it is pure no on-premise dependency at all, no VPNs, no on-premise servers, and those are pretty advanced organizations, okay, where they have moved almost all of their workloads, applications, business data, business applications to cloud already. Okay, like Salesforce, Workday, HR has moved into Workday, Sales has moved to Salesforce, SAP has moved to SAP Cloud. So every organization has already moved to the cloud. Okay, they can only retain, I mean, they can only survive without any, they can already survive without any local data center and local traditional legacy applications. So in that case, you will have mostly all of the cloud solutions. Intune is purely cloud, okay? So you don't have any on-premise dependencies. As long as your endpoints are connected to the internet, they can talk, they can get all the policies up to date, right? So if you have the traditional management, which is management you're on-premise, like in a SCCM or group policy, you probably will not get the latest policies. And even if you want to get it, like, you need to have a VPN, okay, a tunnel where it connects to your on-premise backend servers, and that is not always the case. If you have 150,000 devices or 200,000 devices all logging at more or less the same time, your VPN server budget, whatever it is, the allocations will be skyrocketed. So all the problems we really don't have here in Intune. Okay, so it's scalable. Okay, so you can manage up to 4.5 lakh devices in a single Intune console, and no issues with that. Okay, so the strategy of migrating from on-premise to cloud. That's the first thing we'll probably discuss, and then Intune has recently released some of the advanced features like endpoint privilege management. So all this comes with additional licenses. Okay, so Intune is not just a device management tool anymore, right? Anything related to endpoint, they're integrating it in Intune. Okay, so earlier people used to install CyberArk, okay, EPM. So CyberArk EPM, what it actually does in most of the organization, if one or two people really need access to certain applications, as you know, like most of the users in an organization are standard users on the laptop. They cannot install any new applications. Okay, they're not administrators. Okay, and for someone sitting somewhere in Australia, if someone wants to install, no one can walk up to him and install, right? So for that, he gets a permission from the business head and says like, no, I am a privileged user to run a certain application as an administrator at any time, right? So that is where this EPM thing comes in. Okay, earlier people were using third-party solutions like CyberArk. So Microsoft decided, why don't we come up with our own solution and integrate with Intune, so that okay, people don't have to install other agent on the laptop. Okay, the entire mission of Microsoft is to have as less agents as possible and bring in as many as inbuilt clients to manage a device, right? The first thing what has happened is Intune itself. Intune as an MDM does not have a client at all. You don't need to install a client to run and get retrieve policies. Windows 10 and Windows 11 already has a MDM MDM agent inbuilt, right? And the next came in Defender for Endpoint. The Defender for Endpoint also, you don't need to install any agent. It's already there in Windows 10. You just need to buy the license, integrate with Intune, or use it as a standalone and push policies to the devices directly from the cloud, right? So traditionally people had McAfee, Sophos, like no Sentinel one, all needs agent, right? They need to install agent, they need to update the agent. So here we don't need to do all of that. How about this, even Zscaler, right? You don't need to have a Zscaler app if you have Defender for Endpoint. Whatever the job Zscaler does, Defender for Endpoint does, like not web content and traffic filtering. So you don't have to have third-party antivirus. You don't have to have third-party EPM agents. And then comes the remote help. So remote help, for today, it's an additional client, but going forward, they also plan to have a remote client inbuilt within the operating system. Okay, so with Intune alone, you can just click the device and select the device. We can actually take a remote help. The same thing what we do today in SCCM. but SSM works completely differently, right? You need to have a client within your network to take a remote session. But here it's internet based. No matter where in the world, it's just like log me in, TeamViewer. Okay, so we are replacing one by one all those advanced or third-party tools here right away in the Intune. So and hence Intune is now not just an endpoint management tool. Intune is beyond endpoint management tool. So you can deploy all of the Defender for endpoint security policies right away from Intune, all of these third-party things also from Intune. Okay, so we again within the Intune, if you look at this, we now have a little bit advanced policies. Okay, people need to really understand what is CSP. CSP is configuration service provider, which is the backbone of every MDM policy, every Windows 10 uh, policy, okay, configuration policy. So we'll talk about some of the credential guard, application guard, and so many other policies related to security. The main people here get confused is the SCEP, NDIS, and your PKI infrastructure. Okay, so PKI for anyone will take a lot of time to get some understanding. The most confusing subject is the public key infrastructure, right? People with the, it's really not related to Intune, but it's very, very, very good to understand you as an Intune person when you talk and when you work with your cross-functional teams who has their PKI, who you need to work with PKI team to get things going, to deploy certificates to endpoints, right? In order to do that, you need to work with your PKI team. So they probably might not understand. They, even if they have understood, they will keep quiet. They may not help you. But if you have good knowledge, okay, so you'll get a good support from your other peers. So you really need to understand what is PKI, what is certificate authority, what is the issuing certificate authority, what is the certificate itself, okay? So how do we create, what is the registration authority, okay? So, and how do you integrate that entire PKI to your Intune, right? PKI is sitting in your on-premise infra. That is your ADCS component. You need to work with your AD team. If at all your company comes and says like, no, we need to deploy certificates, then that is very common when it comes to advanced organization. If they need to deploy certificates, be it Wi-Fi certificates, VPN certificates, or any root certificates, or any application level certificates, SMIME certificates, okay, all of those certificates need to be deployed. And if you're issuing certificate authority is your internal PKI, your Intune needs to be connected to your PKI. And for that, you need to install a connector, a Intune connector, certificate connector. Okay, so that's your a kind of a proxy. Okay, Intune talks to certificate connector, and the certificate connector talks to your PKI, and the PKI will deploy certificates to the devices. So that's the most confused topic. We'll probably discuss in detail for like 2 to 3 hours on that. Since it's a complex thing, Microsoft recently announced something called as a Microsoft Cloud PKI. If anyone has worked with Intune or any other MDM and any other SCCM, any PKI, it usually takes a month time to deploy everything here. By the time you get approvals, by the time you create your templates, certificate authority permissions, your change requests get approved, all of that, it'll take a 1 month, good 3 to 4 weeks to create this entire SCEP and NDS things. Okay, but here, this entire complexity is now replaced with Microsoft Cloud PKI. All you have to do is just create one certificate, not even create one simple profile, which is exactly 5 minutes. This 1 month job is now reduced to 5 minutes. We also will talk about that. Okay. So you'll probably, if you understand this, this is a cakewalk. Okay. So it's good to understand this and this. We'll talk about very fundamentals of what is cap, what is NDES and all. Okay. So bearing about that, okay, so that is a big, good topic, and then we'll talk about universal print. Okay, so I'm not sure if anyone has heard about universal print. Today, if you go and ask a year back, if people used to ask 2 years back or something like, no, why don't you move to everything to Intune? They say, no, I still have dependency of printers. I still have dependency on file shares, all of that. Okay, so Microsoft thought, okay, so because of these, people are not going away to cloud. And that's why they come up with Azure AD, single sign-on, and then file shares, and then universal print. So universal print is a cloud-based printing solution. You can have printers in your office, but your device is not connected to your printer directly. Okay, it is connected. Okay, but after provisioning. Okay, so you can deploy all of your laptops based on the locations. Okay, so universal printer is the additional solution. It is where you can add all of your register your printers. Okay, universal printer does not require any drivers. Okay, all that is the best part, right? It's very simplification. So by default, the drivers are inbuilt within your Windows 11 operating system and Windows 10 latest operating system also. Okay, click on Control P, your printer is already listed there. Okay, that's how simple you can deploy printers using Intune and Universal Print. So third-party compliance, again, what we really discuss about third-party compliance is when you have a third-party MDM provider like Jamf, like Sorty, like Mobile Iron. Okay, that gives you a compliance status to your Intune or Azure AD, and that is where you can define conditional access policies. Okay, so we'll again talk about that. And people who are already working with Intune, okay, I'm not sure they have really used any ADMX ingestion. Okay, they can actually create a lot of ADMX customizations, the download and then add it into Intune and push it. Okay, so nowadays, as you can see, with this group policy analytics, okay, group policy analytics is a tool where it analyzes all of your group policies and comes up with a report, and it says like, no, 80 so and so group policies can be migrated to Intune. Okay, and you can just click on migrate and all of your group policies will be converted into configuration profiles in Intune. Okay, so that way you can get rid of your on-premise Active Directory. You can get rid of your group policies, and you can finally get rid of your SCCM as well. Okay, but today if you look at SCCM, and people who are in SCCM, if you look at what are the recent developments within SCCM for last 2 years, what's new in SCCM, if they go and check their Microsoft website and if they have installed any updates, there is nothing much. Okay, so there is really nothing much. There is no really development or new features that are added in SCCM. Almost all the investment, all the features that are added are only in Intune. Okay, so Intune, since it's a cloud solution, they're not dependent on any of the customers, right? They keep on adding features and updates. Every month, twice, thrice, they keep on adding. You'll not even know, okay? So today you'll see something, okay? Oh, suddenly you'll see new features added. Okay, so you'll not even know about it. Okay, by the time you learn something, new things are already there. Okay, so desktop analytics. People, I think, have or use Systrack or NextThink. So again, like, no, you don't have to have a NextThink agent. You don't have to have a Systrack agent. Today, yes, I agree. NextThink and Systrack gives you a very detailed inventory because those are dependent on WMI, and then their scripts are really wonderful. So you get a great details when it comes to even Tanium also, right? So all of those three different solutions gives you different data. But just like any solution with Microsoft, they will keep developing and they will beat almost every other competition in the market. Okay. So as you know, like, Intune in 2016, it was not even a competitor in the MDM market space, right? And today it is the only market leader. Okay, just followed by little bit of VMware Workspace ONE. Apart from these two, all the other solutions have literally vanished. Okay, so that's how dominating, unfortunately, I'm not sure if it's good or bad for the market. If they enter into some product, 90% of the time they will be a leader. Okay, you look at even Salesforce. They came up with Dynamics 365. They're already matching up something with Salesforce. Salesforce was a a leader. No one were able to touch it, right? So Microsoft ultimately now people are replacing Salesforce with Dynamics CRM. So anyways, so same thing goes with Intune. Okay, so almost half of your projects, go to your company and ask, they are migrating from AirWatch to Intune, Mobile Iron to Intune, okay, IBM Master 60 to Intune. Some are migrating from SCCM to Intune. Others are migrating from Ivanti to Intune. Okay, half of your projects will only be migration to Intune. Okay, not even half, every project. So every organization will have Intune. Okay, I'll tell you why. Why Intune? Because this is the power of Intune. At least for mobile devices, Intune, ma'am, is the power. Okay, and from there, everything will be pulled for the Intune management. So we'll talk about MAM again. Okay, so clear. MAM is nothing but so I usually cover MAM in the level 1 as well. Okay, but here also I again cover a little bit of more MAM policies and MAM service, how it actually talks to each other, and then how it is really dependent on user login ID where it actually checks in. Okay, so ma'am, as you know, recently again announced something for Windows as well, where you can have Edge browser and people at home can also use with limited controls and data lake protections. Okay, basically, Intune ma'am is if you have an Outlook application in your mobile phones, okay, and you can log in. The only thing is will not be able to, you can enforce controls into your MAM control so that you cannot be able to open camera when you're open an application. You'll not be able to take screenshots. You'll not be able to download the attachments and save it in your Google Drive or your phone. Nothing, all of those corporate applications, right? OneDrive, SharePoint, all that information will not be coming out from that app to your device or to your personal storage like Dropbox, Box, like Geo Drive, all that drives. Okay, so OneDrive, nothing comes out. So those are all the policies that almost every organization will now are already doing it. So we'll do a lot of Mac OS management also. Okay, so when I say Mac OS management, start because usually I don't cover that in L1 because it's the same like iOS and iPad. But here we'll start off with enrollment, few policies, and we'll talk about firewall, which is nothing but a BitLocker, similar to the BitLocker encryption. Okay, and create some policies. So definitely ABM will be a part of it. ABM is nothing but the Apple Business Manager. It is similar to Windows Autopilot. Okay, so and then comes the endpoint analytics. Okay, so again it's the same. It's a mixture of endpoint and the desktop analytics. The desktop analytics is different. It used for migration things, but endpoint analytics is your actual the next thick and the sixth track. A lot of challenge was around the cloud labs. The people who have used AD labs, which is your local administrator password solution. So a recent announcement was your Azure AD Cloud Labs, okay, or Intune Cloud Labs. Both works more or less the same way. For an Azure AD joined machine, how do we rotate passwords for the local administrator so that if someone wants to take control of the local administrator and perform some operations, they can actually do it, or like some installing applications or anything. Yeah, a lot of people were asking about BitLocker in some of the sessions because that's a big topic. Usually it's a security related topic. Some organization back in the days where MBAM was used, the Microsoft BitLocker Administration Management, or McAfee encryption was used. there was a separate security team to handle encryptions, right? They really understood what is drive encryption. So many commands like BD, the entire BD command line tools. They used to write scripts, PowerShell scripts to encrypt, decrypt, retrieve password rotations. Sorry, the recovery rotations. All of that was an advanced management. Okay, now with Intune in place, it's pretty simple. There are two things. One is configuration. The other thing is the configuration anyways will work because it is Intune that is used by everyone in the world. It's the same Intune, okay? No, it's not a different Intune. So the problem always lies with the client machine when it comes to BitLocker, right? Many things. Your TPM is not supported, okay? So your configuration is not perfect, okay? Or what have you chosen within the configuration? Okay, so is it the full try encryption, partial encryption? Do you have selected, are you a standard user? Are you an administrator user? Have you up- checked the appropriate box if you're a standard user? Okay, so there's so many things a little bit to understand what is the best way to configure without any failing. Okay, that's all. People always do trial and error methods. If you look at any Intune project, the BitLocker is a big problem for them because they don't know what is the ideal configuration. Whether they select 128-bit, 256-bit with AES or CBCC or any other what algorithm to select, which laptops should I support? I have Lenovo, uh, old devices I have with only TPM 1.2 or TPM 2.0, but encryptions are failing. So many configuration challenges when it comes to BitLocker. Okay, so that's what I thought I'll have a separate 1 hour session and to let you all know what each and every setting is and what is the best way to configure without failing. And if it fails, how to check on the client, the commands, and actually the registries to verify what is the problem. Oh, I'll probably cover the Defender for endpoint integration and implementation a lot compared to most of the topics. Why? Because today, if you go to interviews, they always ask Defender for endpoint along with Intune. That is a challenge in the industry. The people either know application packaging, SCCM, and little bit of Intune. They will not know any security aspects. Or people will only know Intune and Android and iOS. They will not even know Windows. People from the security team know what exactly is Defender for endpoint. They will not know what is Intune. Okay. Go to any job, that is always a challenge. So it is very important to really understand the Defender for endpoint under all uh, circumstances. If you're a security organization, what are incidents, what are alerts? Okay, how do you talk to your security team? What are the impact of your endpoints? How does it support? How do we uh, add all that? Okay, so all that is pretty important. Okay, so we'll we'll also do some simulations. We'll run some viruses and see how it actually reports. This alone can be covered for 10 to 12 days, okay? Because it's a huge topic. Okay, and next comes the Windows Hello. Okay, a lot of people, yeah, Windows Hello is it can be a simple commercial Windows Hello configuration or Windows Hello for business configuration. Okay, so there are again various models. One is pure cloud model, one is hybrid model, one is a cloud trust, key trust, all of different models. But the only that is Microsoft recommending at this moment, if you're a pure cloud based, you can go with the default uh, Windows Hello for business cloud based, which is pure configuration of your biometrics. So Windows Hello, I'm not sure if anyone understands. Windows Hello is nothing but configuring a laptop to use biometrics, like fingerprints, face scan, okay, all of that to log into your laptop or log into your remote server or any kind of application wherever it asks for. Okay. So the two things, one is cloud. If the device is only joined to Azure AD, if it's an hybrid AD, and if it requires some kind of authentication to backend servers, remote servers, RDP, anything, there is something called as the cloud trust. Okay. Which wherein you need to install a module within your AD and then enable that in your Azure AD so that you will be still all of your Kerberos authentication happens via your Azure AD to your backend AD. Okay, so I'll actually cover basic if someone really wants advanced. Okay, so we can go ahead and talk even about the key trust and the cloud trust. So without next comes the Entra ID. This is actually the topic that I'll be covering on the first day itself. Okay, so this will go somewhere here. Okay, number one, because just like how Office 365, the identity and authentication, everything relies on Azure AD, right? Earlier it was Azure AD, now it is called Entra ID, right? So Intune is completely dependent on the Azure AD or the Entra ID. So for people who don't know, if you buy Office 365, you get Azure AD by default because Office 365 doesn't work without Azure AD. Same thing goes, if you buy Intune, you also get an Azure AD. Okay, same concept here. So you don't separately buy Azure AD. Okay, Intune wants Azure AD. By default, if you buy Intune, you'll get free Azure AD. Okay. The Azure AD basic, you'll get it. Because Intune is clearly dependent on Azure AD identities, user identities, and also device identities. So not just that, there are some advanced Azure AD features and concepts. Okay, like conditional access. Okay, like privilege management, like permissions, features, app proxy, Azure AD app proxy, enterprise applications. What is an enterprise application? How do you register enterprise applications? Why do you need that? Okay, we'll get some detailed understanding of that. Okay, so the next one is a defender for cloud apps. I'll probably not cover what exactly is defender for cloud apps. I'm sorry, not I'll not actually I'll cover what is defender for cloud apps, but I'll not cover in detail. Okay, so all you need to understand is what is defender, because if I again dig deep into it, it'll again be a 8 to 9 hours class. It'll again be 3 4 weeks. Okay? All these are separate big topics. Okay, this and the other topic, I'm just giving you basic introduction. Okay, including all of these. Okay, so M365 Copilot, Security Copilot, I'm not sure if you're really following up the latest advancements. That is the hottest industry discussion that's happening is these two. Okay, so I'll let you all know what exactly is this. What is the job of an administrator? Because I've recently seen a job opening, Copilot expert. It's not even released. No one even has it. Already there are job openings in companies like Accenture where they want Copilot expert. Okay, no one even have seen it. Okay, so that is. But anyways, okay. So I have the license, so I'll just show you how the M365 Copilot works, how the security Copilot works. Basically, what needs to be done by an admin. Okay, Copilot is an end user thing. Okay, they can draft emails, they can create presentations automatically when very basic terms. Okay, security Copilot is a purely an administrator tool. Everything that you do, security Copilot will automatically do. All you have to tell the instruction is you need to tell the instructions. Okay, purely AI. Okay, absolute AI. There's nothing involved, nothing. Okay? There's your jobs will become easier and easier and easier and easier in next 5 to 6 years. Okay, the entire requirement within the job profile will completely change. You need Everyone needs to get updated. People who are doing patching jobs, they need to move on. Okay, no one is worried about patching. When I say no one is worried about patching, the devices will automatically get patched. Okay, so people now tell, no, I don't want to patch. You can say I don't want to patch, but in future, Microsoft will automatically patch. They cannot stay. your device being the old device. Okay, so and that's why I'll also discuss about auto patch. That is exactly what I was saying. Windows auto patch is a Microsoft solution where Microsoft automatically patches all of your Windows endpoints. Okay, this essentially got rid of your patching role in your organization. They will send you the report. They will ensure that the devices are patched. They have their own SLA. Okay, they use something called as Windows Update for Business Deployment Services. Okay, in short, it is WUFBDS. Okay, they will give you a proof that your device was not able to contact. Your device was not login, not online, and hence we were not able to patch. And every device that was online for 4 hours or 3 hours, they already patched it. So that is what we'll discuss about how to enroll into Windows Auto Patch. What is your role as an admin? What are you getting reports? Okay, how it actually works. Or you can do the entire thing with this service alone. If you don't want Microsoft to patch, you can do the same thing what Microsoft does. You can actually do that alone. Okay. So that is what I really wanted to cover. Okay. So these are topic level. Okay. So when I say topic level, okay, so this is based on the topics. Okay. A lot of things might get uh, a different flow based on the questions that you all ask. Okay. So based on the based on the some people really come up with the different topics. Absolutely fine. Okay, there is nothing wrong in it because they might be working and they want to cover something. They have some doubts on that. We can add their topics as well. We can discuss any real-time scenarios as well. Okay, like a lot of from a different batches they come up with like I work here and okay, this is my project. I'm stuck here. We don't know what to do. It might not just help him. It might help everyone as well in the class. Okay, so we'll probably discuss any of that. Okay, so basically this is how I start. Okay, so this is my lab. Okay, and I also have some virtual machines where you can see that right away here. I have all the platforms. Okay, so devices where we can see I have Mac, Android, I have iOS devices, Windows devices as well. So 70% of the screen that you will be seeing is everything I'll be doing it here and in the virtual machines itself. Okay, all real time. Okay. So, and like, including all of this, okay? As I was saying, like, cloud PKI, okay? So how to create cloud PKIs, different connectors, cloud connectors, okay? So each and every option we'll be discussing, different certificate connector, like, you have now ServiceNow connector where the tickets gets exchanged between the ServiceNow and your Intune console. Okay, there are some of the things that cannot really be shown. Okay, for example, I don't have a ServiceNow license, so I'll not be showing that. Okay, so wherever I have licenses, wherever I was able to purchase, I actually have it. Okay, so wherever we don't have information, and we can talk about that. Okay, so recently, as you know, I recently added partner portals. We have HP, where you can connect, update and configure and secure your BIOS on all of your HP devices. So one of the reason what I was really telling you why you need to learn Intune, like, if you look at Intune Gartner report, Magic Quadrant, right? So click on images. Okay. So if you look at, I'm not sure if you have this data. This is June 2022. Okay, so if you look at unified endpoint management tools, Microsoft is the leader. Second comes VMware. This is Ivanti, which is nothing but mobile iron. Ivanti purchased it. You see, IBM Manage Engine was once upon a time a leader. Manage Engine also was always a visionary. Okay, this is Matrix 42. So this is some time back. Okay, as you can see, this is 2019. Okay, if you look at 2019, there were so many players in the market. Microsoft, VMware, IBM, BlackBerry, Citrix, Mobile Iron. You see, as soon as within 4 years, they were all gone away. See, Citrix is gone. They announced the end of the product. BlackBerry is already gone. IBM, you see where it is. It came here. Okay. Mobile Iron is nothing but it came from up to here. Okay. And Microsoft was here. VMware, IBM was the more better than that. And now you see Microsoft and VMware are the only leaders. Okay. So if you go till old back in 2016, I'm not sure. I'll not be able to get that. Okay. Something. I don't know how. Okay. So this is June 2016. You saw where is Microsoft? Is it a leader? No, VMware was one, Citrix, Mobile Iron was two, IBM, BlackBerry. Okay, Microsoft was a visionary somewhere here with small players. Okay, I don't know if I have 2014 report. If you look at 13, 14, Microsoft here niche player. From here to here they came. Machine literally cleaning of all the competition. Okay, now every company who are using all of these products like Mobile Iron, Citrix, they're all in the migration projects to Intune, Microsoft. So this was again 18 within 2 years from here to here. Okay, so that's the main reason why this is a tool that is going to exist forever, and this will be the only tool that will be there. Okay, you might have some little bit of competition, but it's a monopoly, unfortunately, and even SCCM also will get eventually more. Yes, enterprises will continue to use SCCM for a long time because they have been using for last 20 years. It's not easy to migrate like that. But for small organizations, less than 10,000 devices or 15,000 devices, they're already started to move. Okay, there are many reasons why they want SCCM. There are many reasons why they cannot move away, and why they only want to move away from Intune for small organizations. Okay, so that's all we have. Okay, I don't have anything else because I don't want to pick up a topic, because if I pick up a topic, usually it'll go on for another half an hour, because the whole point for today's class was what was the agenda and what was the plan to all of that. Okay, and for people who said, I think I'm just going to read some questions. If you have any questions, you can post it. I'll try to answer all of them in the chat. If I'm zero to Intune, if someone is zero to Intune, I would suggest attend my the L1, L2 100 classes. Okay, it's a slow class. Okay, you have all the time to ask from basic questions. Okay, so will this course includes Defender, Microsoft Defender? Yes, completely yes. In detail also yes. So separate session on PKI? Yes. Again, as I told you in the class, yes, PKI and Intune is a clear-cut uh, agenda for this topic. And then someone said AVD, yes. AVD is again a separate topic. It comes under the infra theme. Okay, so but I don't know if we have time, we can cover that. Okay, so basically AVD, I will cover Windows 365. Okay, so Windows 365 is a cloud PC thing, right? So because all of the policies, Windows 365 again is integrated with Intune. If you want to deploy policies to Windows 365 machines, uh, it is actually all of your cloud PC Windows 365 machines are shown up in the Intune console. We can actually uh, manage all of those cloud PCs from Intune. It's integrated. Okay, but AVD is a bit different thing. They have to be, again, AVD has a front-end console where you can click on the enroll the device into Intune. All of your AVD devices again will get enrolled to Intune. Okay, so those again can be managed with AVD policies. But I can let you know what is AVD, what is Windows 365, what is the differences between these two, and why organizations should choose AVD over Windows 365 or Windows 365 over the Azure Virtual Desktop. So Graph API, I tried to do that in my last class. Okay, people realize they don't like it, or they did not understand it, and and I also wanted to. I mean, I really don't need. If I have time, I'll actually show that. But I would suggest you don't have to waste time with Graph API anymore. Why? Because as I said, Security Copilot is already there. Security Copilot works exactly with the Graph API in the backend. Okay, but if someone wants to pull the data, get data, put data using some Graph API with any of the API tools, I can show them. Okay. Can I take class in Hindi? Unfortunately, I'm myself, I'm not very clear in Hindi. Okay, so I'm not fluent in Hindi. So fee, okay, I'll let you know. I'll put our number here. So for all the, let me just share my screen. So this is an Indian number. Okay, it's plus 919540662806. Okay, that's the number you need to call if someone is interested in this class or any of your friends are interested in this class. Okay, so you can call Amit. Amit number is 954066286. Okay, +1 is the India code. Okay, so those are the numbers you can contact. I'll put that in the chat as well. So for the course fee also, please have a discussion with Amit. Course fee, timings, okay, any other information. So let me read some more questions in the chat. Someone was raising their hands. Let me check. Not sure. Is Defender having VPN feature? The answer is no. I have in some Intune managed devices, but in SCM console it's showing offline state. Oh, okay, so all that we can actually cover that in the class. So in this call, can you cover 100 to 102? Yes. I want to get a demo for technical for logs and troubleshooting for L2 level. Yes, we are covering that. We're not just covering when it comes to L2 troubleshooting or L3 troubleshooting, right? So of course, L3, L4 will actually go to directly Microsoft support, but for your L1 and L2, you still need to do some basic log analysis. Okay, so when it comes to application deployment, we have log files, but when it comes to device management, we have event logs. Okay, so we don't have anything else apart from the event we were alone. Okay, so we have some diagnostic logs as well. That's only for the client level troubleshooting. We cannot really do the server level troubleshooting. Okay, the reason being we don't have access to the Intune service. Okay, so can we cover patching through Intune? As okay, so patching from Intune is not a patching tool, but Intune will provide patch policies. Okay, those patch policies are dependent or are based on Windows Update for Business and Windows Update for Business deployment services. So Intune, unlike SCCM, see all the traditional tools, what they did, they used to download the patches onto their local servers, and then from local machines, they used to push patches to their distribution servers, and that would be deployed to their endpoint clients. Okay, but here it is not like that. In Intune, we'll only deploy policies, and based on that policy, the client machine will go to Microsoft Internet and then fetch the update. Okay, so that is the patch mechanism it follows. So class time and duration, usually it'll be in the evenings during weekends. Okay, Saturday and Sunday. Most of the candidates prefer Saturday and Sunday evenings, 4 to 6 or 5 to 7. Okay. As a part of Service Desk L1, my organization have a bit experience with 4 points. Not all features. Do you recommend using basic Intune course or any? See, it's up to you. So Ashish, so I'm not sure what you understand by Intune. Okay, how much of Intune you understand? Like by looking at those topics, okay, so I'll probably go a little bit lower and then start advanced, right? So, but doesn't really every time I cannot go on deep dive, very basic. Okay, I assume like everyone wants to. Uh, Everyone understood what is enrollment, what is a simple policy, why do we use Intune? Okay, so that level of understanding is if you already have it, you can try for first few classes, and if you think it's very hard, you can join the basic class that I am already planning within next 15 days. When can we expect Intune to manage server? That will never come, don't worry. So which we do via SSCM. Yes, Intune for servers might not come or might come, we don't know. So we are planning to migrate from Ivanti to Intune. What is the best method for authentication for endpoint devices like iOS and Android? There is only one authentication mechanism for iOS and Android, which is your Azure AD. Okay, and that is purely user based. If your user is licensed with Intune, okay, and he is present in Azure AD and licensed with Intune, he'll be able to authenticate. So in this course, Android, iOS, Linux machines covered for deployment. Yes, you're covered. Okay, so that's all I have. Okay, so I don't have any other questions. Put them in the chat if you have any questions or any talk to anyone. Can we do third-party application patching from Intune? Okay, so can we do third-party application patching from Intune? Okay, so when it comes to third-party, at this moment, third-party patching, there is something called advanced management, application management that Microsoft recently announced, as you might see, right? So that they have what they actually did, uh, they have a list of catalog applications, all the industry standard applications like 300 or 500. They have somewhere around 1,000 in the plan in next 2 years. Only those applications can be updated, installed, and patched. Okay, not based on the publisher at this moment. So they can add the publisher, like if it's an Adobe, all of the Adobe applications can be updated. But at this moment, their plan is to have the applications so that okay, let me tell you, someone is doing application deployment, okay, even their jobs would be at riskier in future. Okay, so what the plan from Microsoft is, they want to pick up the top 3,000 to 4,000 applications. Okay, pick up those 3,000 to 4,000 applications, and they want to continuously maintain, update, and deploy it, okay, to the people who are using Intune. So you'll have very all those 3,000, 4,000 applications are already out of your scope for package deployment. Okay, so customers would prefer that instead of paying for the packaging. So can we cover ABM, ASM? Yes. With demo, yes. As you see, when it comes to ABM and ASM, Apple does not give you an account unless you're a proper business or a school, right? But I do have recorded videos on how we can actually do ABM and ASM. So there are many videos which is crystal clear and configurations. It's a pretty simple, straightforward step. So are we covering any PowerShell automation with Intune? No. Okay. So I really don't understand what is PowerShell automation with Intune. So if you have a PowerShell script, we can deploy with Intune. Okay. So they're two separate things. We need a person who writes a very good PowerShell scripts. If you know, okay, take that PowerShell script and deploy with Intune. So if you really call that as PowerShell automation, no, we are not covering. So Microsoft will replace Microsoft tunneling solution. So that is, I don't know what was that, but Microsoft Tunnel is a separate solution only for iOS devices, where iOS devices talks to your application services in the backend. Will this course help me to get a job? I have experience in MS support and Exchange Online. We want to learn M365 security. See, M365 security is, again, it depends what is M365 security. If you want to go as if you have Office 365 experience, I mean Exchange experience, it's better you you already have some information on Exchange Online security part, which is your Defender for Office 365. So if you have Defender for Office 365 experience, you can expand. Nowadays, the way it actually works is Office 365 Defender for Endpoint, Defender for Office 365, Defender for Azure AD, Intune, all are one team. Okay, it's good to have everyone's knowledge. So can we upgrade Windows 10 to 11? Yes, we can do that. If your device supports Windows 11, yes, a simple policy can be pushed to Windows 10 machines. And if your device supports, it will be automatically updated to Windows 11. You mentioned that we can download GPO using Intune, and that all the remove and the use of on-premise, so that in case what we need to renew policies in the environment, can we do that using Intune? What was that? You mentioned that we can download GPO using Intune, and that will remove the use of on-premise ID. In that case, what if we need to do new policies in the environment? Okay, see, what I mentioned was, you can take your old GPOs, upload it to Intune, and create a replacement for your GPO using configuration profiles from Intune. So your GPO policies, instead of deploying from AD, they will be deploying from Intune as profiles. If you want to add, edit, modify, remove, everything, you can actually do it. Okay, so it's simple policy. The policy can always be modified, added, deleted, can be anything, can be done. Okay. Okay. So that's all. I think we can end our session today. So we'll probably meet next week, or probably next week, or the next to the next week. Okay. So we'll decide. I'll again put the number. Amit, please contact Amit. Okay. So I put that in the chat. I'll repeat the number. It's 919540662806. Okay. Thank you guys. You guys have a nice day. Bye bye.